Classmates, this is Addison, your math student ambassador. Today I'm going to walk through some helpful tips for successful discussion posts. So the first thing I do when starting a new week is go to the modules, click on the week overview, and this is where you're going to find all the assignments that you have due this week. Then I scroll down and go to the required readings. There's usually a required text, and then sometimes there are some additional readings to download. I like to download these to my computer and then create a folder where I save all of the assigned readings from that course. So you can see here all the assigned readings from the Diversity and Psychology course broken down by module. I think it's good to save all of these in one place so you can refer back to them for future assignments or even possibly for future courses. Once I identified my required readings for that week, I'll scroll down and click on the discussion I'm planning to respond to. The first thing I do when starting a discussion post is always read the discussion prompt before starting the assigned readings. This helps to identify what to read for. I also start a running Google Doc. I use this for the whole course, the same Google Doc. And I just take quick notes while I'm reading. Since I've already read the discussion prompt, I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for, and I just jot down notes that I think will be helpful while I'm reading. I also include page numbers sometimes, or quotes, or where I can refer back to the readings once I start drafting my post. After I've completed all of the assigned readings and have an idea of how I want to respond to the discussion prompt, I'll go to the Academic Support Hub, which is always linked at the bottom of the course. I'll go here, and then I'll click on the library to get me to the Chicago School Library. This is where I'll look for my one additional peer-reviewed article. Remember that for all discussion posts, you need to cite an additional scholarly source. Once I've found that additional source, I'll go back to my reading notes, and I like to copy and paste the discussion prompt onto this same document. That way my notes and my response is all in one place. Then I'll start drafting my discussion response, incorporating the notes that I took and the prompt from the professor. Once I've drafted my discussion post, I'll check the prompt for specific instructions like underlining keywords or ways to respond to peers. Once my discussion post is mostly complete, I'll go down and I'll start my references. It's also helpful to have all of this in one place on one document because sometimes if I'm using the same reference, like for example, the textbook, I can copy and paste that throughout the course. It's also helpful to use the Chicago School Library to get started when citing your sources. Next thing I do is proofread my post, look for any errors, and ensure that I've followed APA formatting. One thing to look for is any mistakes that I've made in the past that my professor has already corrected me on or given advice on how to fix. Lastly, I'll copy and paste my whole discussion post back onto the discussion board. Here's where you want to make sure that everything copy and pastes in the proper format. So I'll go through and clean this up, delete any extra spaces, make sure that my references copy and pasted where, I need things italicized and whatnot. Once I'm happy with my final result, I'll hit post reply. Posted my response, I'll typically wait 1 to 2 days before responding to peers to ensure a thoughtful response. Then I'll go through my checklist and make sure that I cited at least one of the required readings, cited an additional scholarly source, wrote a minimum of 500 plus words, and reviewed the scoring rubric. You can find the discussion rubric on the top of the discussion assignment. I hope that this is helpful, and as always, please feel free to reach out to me as your student ambassador with any questions.